20. This is IOTA the expedition of Russian Robinson Club, Kilo Lima 7 Delta X-ray. CQ20. This is IOTA the expedition from IOTA Mil 1, November Alpha 234, Russian Robinson Club, Kilo Lima 7 Delta X-ray.
Kilo Lima 7 Delta X-ray QRZ.
By the count 10, you'll find yourself in a loaded boat that moves along the sea covered in the volcanic ash. It'll be cold. It'll be hard to breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Somebody to get to line. Keep her on a long line behind us. Okay. Roger.
For 5 days and nights, you'll have to go on the air on one of Alaska's most remote and hard-accessible islands. Reference number NA234, according to the international program Islands on the Air. Chuginadak in Aleut language. In English translation, it means boiling or sizzling. Also, another translation exists: frying. By all these four names, Chuginadak owes to the local Cleveland volcano, number 4 in the list of the most active volcanoes of Aleutian Islands. Right now, by a low-frequency roar, it's shaking Earth under the feet. It has thrown a huge cloud of ash, 5 miles high. It poisoned fresh water springs. Satellites registered a powerful heat abnormality, that is, an active flow of scorching lava. It's the most intensive eruption of Cleveland during last several years. It has begun at noon, local time, July 21st, year 2008, that is, yesterday.
It's almost a Russian Robinson, but the same spider, only foreign made. Ours better. We have 6 guides and there are only 4 here. But they're identical in contents. 3 elements for 3 bands and classic G5 RV. Well, now we'll raise a flag.
The camp was pitched not at the place initially planned in orientation, at northern direction and communication with Europe, a huge amount of hunters for islands. The sudden eruption of volcano forces us to settle in a small harbor, and we don't know yet the quality of radio signals passage here. But then everything is blown through here, like in a wind tunnel.
Russian Robinson Club, Kilo Lima 7 Delta X-ray, calling and listening. CQ20. This is IOTA, the expedition of Kilo Lima 7 Delta X-ray. This is Kilo Lima 7 Delta X-ray calling and standing by. Delta Charlie, call again.
Our man.
We've got it. The first communication from island Chuginadak.
What's up? It's Karu.
The gladness was brief. Apart from courage of partakers, the generator's operation required a gasoline as well.
Well, no problem. It's the first attempt of Whiskey 9 Delta Charlie. I'm on the mat. It ain't that easy, the first connection.
Victor Echo 6 America X-ray, thank you, 5x9.
A few minutes later, KL7DX is on the air again.
Victor Echo 6 America X-ray, you're 5x9.
We are answered. For the sake of these instants, we've undertaken this entire trip.
Cleveland Volcano, QRZ. Roger, thanks for the 5x9. Alpha Hotel 6 Hotel Yankee, 5x9 as well, 73. Kilowatt Lima 7 Delta X-ray, QRZ. Bravo 5 Golf Lima. You 5x9, please correct call sign. Thank you, 5x9. KL7DX, thank you so much, Frank. Good evening.
Lima 1, Mike Sierra.
KL1MS, thank you for your call, sir. You're 5x9.
Roger, roger, same. 5x9 here also, thank you.
73. Question, any news from AVO? Any news from Alaska Volcano Observatory?
Negative. Don't have it on right now. I can turn the scanner on and check.
If you could, please, because we heard the rumbling yesterday. We got some ash, and we heard rumbling today. As of right now, it's kind of quiet and pleasant. But if you have any information, could you please feel free to come back on the frequency?
Roger, I will check, and also check the internet. It's a good thing to check on the internet. It will let us know what's happening.
Soon, the rapidly falling dusk buried low voices of our correspondents. Everything sank in noises. Our first night on island has come. Actually, our appearance here was a wonder. The fiery islands of Alaska as if decided to take vengeance on us for all the fans. They are sort of saying, Russians, you'd gone away from here. You'd abandoned us. A few days prior to beginning of our expedition, a powerful eruption of Okmok volcano has begun on Umnak Island. The eruption buries our plans of hiring the chartered ship Miss Alisa. Its engines are unable to work in area where the air is saturated with volcanic ash. Aircraft does not fly due to eruption. Having overcome a tremendous distance from Moscow to Alaska, we cannot put ashore the island located some 300 miles away. To our happiness, we are not the only adventurers in these surroundings. Captain Christian Laxfoss, an Iceland-born veteran fisherman, has lived many years near the volcano's foot and has a great experience of sea sailing in such extreme conditions, a real old salt. And the main thing is that he and the crew of his processing vessel Lady Goodney are ready to take the risk, if chiefly to understand for what. In the process of negotiations, Sergei Morozov applies pretty valuable arguments in hard American currency. Captain undertakes to put us ashore the island and pick up back. And what is more, all this time he'll be anchored nearby in readiness to evacuate us immediately. We approached Chuginadak Island on July 21st at noon.
Lady Goodney, Whiskey Charlie, Uniform 9939.
It's cold, foggy and rainy. All are exhausted by tossing. We are getting ready for disembarkation. But half hour later, an enormous crash roars. the Cleveland volcano's cap comes off, and the powerful outburst explodes all neighborhood with rumble that doesn't stop during next few hours. Are you still willing to be on the island, Russian Robinsons? Welcome.
It's about it's more
Dirty rain torrents, saturated with the eruption's products, flow on our heads. The ship is pasted with that nasty thing all over, from mast truck to waterline. There is no question of disembarkation. The cloud of poisonous volcanic ash crawls towards our position. We ought to leave the dangerous region urgently. So Yuri Sushkin prepares the sea position of equipment for work.
Be safe, and we'll see you maybe later tomorrow or something like that. 73 Yuri, KL7DX, portable maritime mobile, 65 Bravo Oscar Sierra.
The eruption lasts over a day, then it begins to fade. But the volcano periodically reminds about itself, spitting out next portions of ash, dust and gas. At night, a stormy wind with downpour added to the volcano's shocks and boom. Only masses of our bodies managed to hold the torn tent, but those were not all troubles.
There is nothing at all.
No propagation on shortwave bands. We literally, by grains, fish out from thick noise the call signs of Japan and USA, mostly Alaska. And the handsome power amplifier, Ameritron, stopped showing signs of life that same night. Attempts to fix it gave no positive results. Seemingly, the output transistors blew up. The expedition remains with 100-watt transceivers ICOM. Changing each other, we work on the air with everybody available to be heard, and who responded the call sign of our expedition. In the pitch darkness, to the volcano's uterine roar, slams of the wind and magic sounds of the radio air, we have time to think of different things. That all efforts and difficulties of reaching the island, time and money spent on arranging the expedition are seemingly not comparable to over than modest results that we could get here. Probably the cost price of each radio contact in this IOTA expedition might be one of the most expensive in history, and even higher than in the known DX expeditions. On the other hand, a real radio ham's enjoyment by every contact held here on the island is a priceless award to all of us. This award is our compensation for all our difficulties and deprivations. Also, here, thousands of miles away from Russia, native indigenes are still bearing old Russian names and believing in Russian God. We were met by native Aleutian Agrafina in Nikolsky settlement on the American island Unalashka. Danila Snegurov was our guide. Other natives had names of Pashkov, Baranov, Ivanov, Lesnikov. No one knows Russian language. Russians left Nikolsky at the end of 19th century. But some had stayed forever. Here the Russian graves are. Now you do understand why it's so important for us that exactly here, over the fiery lands, over the icy waters, our call signs would sound. The call signs of the second discovery of Alaska. The next day brings new disappointments on the air. Far passage of the signal is nowhere. There is silence at all ranges. Only atmospheric noises, to be exact. Later on, when we return to the anchorage and are invited to the Ionosphere Research Center, which studies an effect of the ionospheres by Arctic disturbances, we'll be told that the area of western Aleutian Islands in the Bering Sea has been covered by powerful aurora for 3 days, and there was no communication on HF at all. The island had played the next bad trick on us. The signals from our transmitter ought to cross the auroral boundary twice, passing via North Pole to Europe. But that was our choice. We knew beforehand about peculiarities of unpredictable northern passage of the signal. It's midsummer. Local temperature is around 10 degrees Celsius. Steady wind blows either from seaside or from mountains. We are in sweaters and jackets all the time. Rain and cold fog are the active participants of our expedition.
CQ contest, kilowatt Lima 7, Delta X-ray. Kilowatt London 7, Delta X-ray, contest. Hello CQ contest, Kilo Lima 7, Delta X-ray. KL7DX, Kilo London 7, Delta X-ray, QRZ.
The spirit of first discoverers pushes Russian Robinsons not only into extreme journeys, but also into searches, researches, and even geographic discoveries. The volcano has calmed a bit, and Yuri Zaruba is going to undertake an ascent of the most top point of Chuginadak's eastern part. The nameless rocky peak, about 4,000 feet above sea level. During the ascent, Zaruba and Sushkin test the newest satellite radio beacon and portable digital UHF handhelds with abilities to transmit precise coordinates.
have you called? Transmitted
On the nameless peak, the flag of the Russian Robinson Club is erected. And in the evening, during a solemn party in honor of the expedition's end, a discussion of the peak's new geographical name takes place. Have you ever seen how islands and mountains obtain their names? Well, look here.
For instance, Commander Islands or Pribilov Islands.
Is that name so in honor of some person?
July 27th, day of departure. The island sees us off with a surprisingly quiet, warm and clear morning.
There's only palms are here.
It accepted us. It took us for granted. While departing, we drop a few Russian coins into the water still dirty of volcanic ash, in a mad hope that someday by chance we'll return to this distant, uninhabited land. Several hours later, we stop at Nikolsky settlement. From there, we evacuate people who need medical aid. Aircraft does not fly yet. In about a day, we arrive at the Dutch harbor port. July 28th, the active part of expedition is completed. It's the time to sum up the first results. The main goal of expedition, that is the first putting the transmitter on the air from the new island Chuginadag, New One NA234, within the international program Islands on the Air, and Russian Robinsons achieved this goal. The island had been activated according to all rules of the IOTA program. Those who wished were able to hear our call signs. Often the connection was on the verge of readability, still more often beneath the verge. Nevertheless, during 5 days of stay on the island, we made over 1,500 two-way radio contacts and took part in island radio communication international contests, IOTA contest. Over 200 QSO had been made. Besides, we'd sent an official request to the US Board on Geographic Names. So, if our request is approved, on the Alaska's map, on the boiling Chuginadag Island, a new name will appear: Ham Radio Peak. The peak of seekers, the peak of hunters, the peak of those who cannot sleep, the peak of those who hate staying at home, the peak of those in love with air, the peak of ours and yours. And where else should it be but at a remote uninhabited island, the way to which is extremely hard and dangerous?
Синее море, и далек он путь домой. Там за туманами, вечными пьяными, там за туманами берег наш родной. Там за туманами, вечными пьяными, там за туманами берег наш родной. Шепчутся волны и вздыхают, и зовут, но не поймут они, чудные, не поймут. Там за туманами, вечными пьяными, там за туманами любят нас и ждут. Там за туманами, вечными пьяными, там за туманами любят нас и ждут.